Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, you're listening to another episode of You're Human. This is episode 15. Holy smokes, 15. This is the call-in show where nothing's off the table. Ask anything. We are all about breaking out of the echo chambers where ideas and thoughts and beliefs can be challenged. Where it's all about starting that conversation. So much is found out inside of a conversation whenever it just starts, right? Instead of just yelling back and forth at each other. So much can be accomplished when people start to communicate and people understand that we're really all not that far off on our beliefs and ideas, right? So there you go. That's what this show is about. If you are listening and you want to call in at 512-523-5609. This is the call-in show where the producer does not do any filtering. So how about happy birthday, America, right? So awesome day yesterday, America's birthday, July 4th, 2023, the year of our Lord. It's what they say, right? Is that how you say it? And so just an awesome day. I hope everybody enjoyed their freedoms. They went out and celebrated responsibly. I hope everybody has the same amount of fingers that they started yesterday with. Hope they didn't catch anything on fire. What an awesome day. What'd you do for 4th of July, Knives?
I walked 12 miles, it was a day off, I didn't really receive a lot of emails. So just put some steps in for sure, cleared my mind. And it was kind of like a little soft reset. What about you, sir?
Well, I did clinicals, 12-hour clinicals on Monday. So did a bunch of calls there. And then I was on an ambulance then. And then yesterday I rode in the fire truck on the parade. Let's answer it. Hey, what's going on? This is the Your Human podcast.
Dakota, my name is John from Long Island, New York, and I've been watching your videos now for probably a year or so, and I saw your Medal of Honor video as well. And I just I'm a grandpa now with 3 beautiful granddaughters.
That's awesome.
And I just wanted to call and say, first of all, thank you for all you did for our country. I know you don't think it's a big deal, but I certainly do.
I appreciate
and
more
importantly, what you're doing now, man. You're just touching so many lives.
Man, that's what
kids watching you now, and I'm gonna get, when grandkids are older, hopefully you're still doing it. I want you to influence as many people in my family as you can, buddy, because I'm a lucky guy. I've been blessed all my life, but I never served, and it's one of my biggest regrets. But I can support.
Man, you're serving now, right? You got those 3 beautiful granddaughters, and you're serving, right? Like it's all about, you only, like, if you look at it, right? Like when you look at service, I hear this a lot of times. People are like, I regret I didn't serve, and it's like, serving was only 4 years of my life. I'm still out there trying to serve, right? Trying to serve my family, trying to serve my community, trying to serve where I can. And guess what? You're doing the exact same thing. So we need people like you. We need good people and people like you. And that's what matters. So, you might have missed that small window of 4 years, right? But man, it doesn't change the existence of the rest of them, right?
I appreciate it. And I'm always supporting you guys as much as I can. And
we couldn't do it without you.
I'm sorry, buddy.
We couldn't do it without you. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's nice of you to say. I think the world of guys like you, and you're such a great influence.
Well, I appreciate that.
It's a beautiful thing to have access to the young kids in this country. I mean, we could pick all the negative things going on in the world, but there's a lot of good things happening.
Gosh, there is.
I think you're one of them. So
I think I agree with you, right? Like we all get there's plenty of negative to look at, but for every negative thing, I promise you there's 10 positive, right? And it's like, man,
absolutely,
we just got to keep that momentum going on the positive. Everything's better on the positive.
It always is, man. It always is. I keep telling the kids, you're very blessed to live in this country. I took my son to Europe, and when we came back, we went through customs, and all the non-U.S. citizens were on one line, and I said, "This is the best line you'll ever be on in your life, kid."
How cool is that?
Thanks for everything,
Hey,
buddy. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, sir.
I just wanted to let you know, so many people here listening to you that are older. I'm in my 60s and just love it. Absolutely love it.
Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking
everything.
I appreciate you taking the time to call me. It means more to me than you'll ever know.
It's an honor.
Well, thank you, sir. Have a good day. What an awesome guy. You know, what an awesome guy.
Really cool. He's called before, so I'm glad he came through.
Yeah, what an awesome guy. Yeah, so then I drove the fire truck, I rode in the fire truck for the parade. Man, we got more. I was gonna finish telling my 4th of July. Keep going. Hey, what's going on? It's Dakota to Your Human Podcast.
Hey Dakota, how you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Oh, not too bad. Hey, a fellow Marine here. I was a staff sergeant, served from 1988 to 2004.
Hell yeah.
Living in Fort Myers.
Fort Myers.
Yep, we got smacked with Hurricane Ian.
Yeah, but you got a good governor down there.
Yes, we do. We sure do.
Yes, sir.
But wanted to find out if you guys ever make tours and do speaking engagements here in Florida, or what do we have to do to get you to come visit us?
Yeah, I've been putting together this idea of probably next spring, but I travel all over, so you can definitely reach out and if I'm in the area, I'd love to come get with you guys. But yeah, look, so I'm looking at probably next spring doing a 50 states in 50 days tour, right? So I'm going to come through and just hit all 50 states and just, talk to have events and stuff like that. But yeah, I travel all over. I'm going to be in Florida for something. I'm running a firefighter challenge down there in September, October. But yeah, let's just shoot over an email and I'll get it updated and maybe we could get together.
Yeah, definitely. I do promotions and marketing for 4 radio stations here in Southwest Florida. So
that's awesome.
I'd love to do something with you.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to have a book coming out this fall. So we can for sure make it happen.
Perfect. Sounds great. Thanks.
So are you going to shoot us an email or what?
Yep. I'm going to shoot you an email. I'm going to put it on the comments here in this live.
Okay. Knives is going to grab it for me and somebody will reach out to you the next day or so.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, brother.
All right. You too. Semper Fi.
Semper Fi. How awesome is that, man? Fort Myers is a beautiful place. You ever been there, Knives?
I think in Florida, I've only been to Tampa.
Tampa? Yeah. Fort Myers is a real nice place. I like Fort Myers.
Really? What do they have out there? Like I'm going to sound dumb, but like a military base?
I think they have a military base. I've never been to it, but like I've been down there and it's like just laid back, chill,
Nice. Got to visit it.
Hey, what's going on? It's Dakota to Your Human Podcast.
How you doing, Dakota?
What's going on?
This is my name's Shane. I live in West Virginia.
Yes, sir.
And look, I was just wondering, first of all, first question is, was your 4th of July okay with family? And what'd you do on the 4th? And second question is, I know you've been through some things, Dakota, as a Marine, and I have myself. How do you motivate yourself on a day-to-day basis? And do you think about those traumatic events you went through in Afghanistan like I do?
Yeah. So first off, thank you for your service. I appreciate you calling in. I thank you for asking about my 4th. I had a great 4th. I spent it with my fiance, and man, I know
it's one of the most precious days that America has, one of those days.
Hell yeah, it's America's birthday, right?
That's right. It was my birthday also. I'm 4th of July, baby.
Well, you are America. You got the red, white, and blue running through you since day one.
But I'm 49, Dakota, and I don't, I'm so old now, and I've been through it, when I was younger. I look at, as I get older, I don't even look at it as my birthday. It's just like America's birthday. Like I went to the fireworks in Charleston, West Virginia, last night.
That's awesome.
Had a wonderful time. I didn't even really think about my birthday because I'm an old bastard.
You ain't old yet. Hell, you're only 49. So to answer your second question, do I think about it? I'll be honest with you, man. I really don't. I've let it go. You know what I mean? Like, I've let it go. You know, what happened. I believe in God. I believe that, and one thing that God says is he does everything, and everything that he does is good. Right. And so, whether I understand it and what, I had to take the question why out of my vocabulary. And I just had to say, what is this trying to teach me? What can I do? What good can I bring of this? What can I do to make myself better? Right. And I know it sounds cliche, and I know it sounds like it's a bunch of snake oil bullshit. Right. But it's really not. I get up every day, man. And I tell you, I'm just happy to be alive. Right. Like, I get to do this, and I'll tell you, I'm not going to waste a day. Guys like us, we've seen the cost of freedom. And, I'm not going to waste a day of my freedom over the guys that paid for it, because I know that they would want me to go out and use and make the most of freedom and be an example to others to live for those who can't live,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, I know it probably sounds insensitive, and it sounds this, but man, I'll tell you this. We live in the greatest country on the face of the planet.
You are right. Exactly. You're 100% right, Dakota.
And man, what good was it if we went over there and we did what we did, and we don't come home and enjoy what we fought for?
Okay.
You know what I mean? It'd be like making money and never buying anything you wanted.
Yeah, you're. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd be like you going to work, you work your whole life, and then you get to the point to where you're rich, and then you don't spend it on nothing.
That's right.
But
since I got out of the Corps, I worked underground in the coal mines for 13 years, and I see what you're saying.
You are one of God's people. I mean, I tell you, like, there's nobody. So I worked out. I used to pour some. I used to pour some concrete pads after I got out of the Marine Corps over in West Virginia, right?
What part?
Man, I'm trying to think of where we were at. I'll tell you, there was some new high schools going in out there. And
I'll tell you, we're in just honestly, we're in bumfuck Egypt.
Hey, man, I gotta tell you, but let me say this: some of the best and hardest people, just true down to the core, good human beings, live out there in West Virginia.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We might be country and backwoods and all this bullshit to the rest of the states, but fuck them.
Yeah.
We're good people. We are 100% good people here in this state.
Yes, sir. Listen, I was out there and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed sitting down. Those coal miners, I'd see them, I'd either see them when we'd fuel up in the mornings, you'd either see them going or coming, and you'd know by how dirty they were.
Yeah, you look at their face,
their
clothes, their hands, it's all black. And look, it's honest to God, good paying work.
Yeah, it's hard, but you know what it is, though. It's all work.
6 miles underground.
Yep. Good guys. I mean, you probably liked it. I bet it was similar to being in the Marine Corps, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. They give you shit just like you do in the Marine Corps, hazing and all this bullshit.
Yeah.
But look, they're brothers.
Brothers, right?
Brothers for life, just like Marines.
That's right, man. Well, that's awesome. Hey, listen, I appreciate you calling in. Listen, if people say they don't like people from West Virginia, well, they sure as hell ain't gonna like me either. You know what I mean? Because West Virginia people are damn good people.
But Dakota, I'll let you go. And one more thing.
Yes,
I'm one of your biggest followers. Every time you get online and stuff, I'm following you, and just
man,
I just wanted you to know that.
Man, that means a lot. I love you, brother.
All right, Semper Fi.
Semper Fi. Take care.
All right.
I'll tell you, man. Like no bullshit. Like those coal miners, are some of the hardest human beings on the face of the planet.
Someone's got to do it.
There's a song actually. It's called "Coal Keeps the Lights On." Yeah, man. It's like they're hard people. Hey, what's going on? It's Dakota at the Your Human podcast.
What's happening, brother?
How are you?
I'm doing good, man.
What's
Hey,
going on?
got a quick question for you here.
Uh-oh.
You said ask you anything.
Ask me
But
anything.
I'm your truck driver. I talked to you last week.
I love it.
I'm a truck
My
driver.
man's here. What's up, man? Where are you at? Hold on. First off,
Hey.
where are you at? Where in the world are you at?
Man, Sacramento.
Golly.
I was in Michigan last week.
Man, you're all over. Okay,
Okay.
well, ask it.
Dude, I've got to lose a little bit of weight here, man.
Okay,
So what can I do? I mean, I've got my kettlebell with me,
gotcha.
but I've got to eat better at these damn truck stops, man.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So what do you suggest?
man, I'll tell you. So, well, are you getting sleep?
Yeah, I am getting sleep. I try to sleep about 8 hours.
Okay, so I tell people there's three things. So there's getting sleep. Like you can't overcome the sleep piece. Like it'd be like trying to not ever charging your cell phone and then trying to talk on it all day long, right? Like it's just gonna be dead. And then or you're gonna be walking around with a battery pack hooked to it. So the next thing is how much caffeine you taking in,
I drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning.
and that's it.
Truck
And
driver's got to do that.
the rest of it water.
The rest of it's water. I don't do any soft drinks, nothing like that.
Well, you already on the hard part, right? So if you getting your water in, right, you're sleeping, and then on the next piece of it is how much carbs you taking in.
And that's just it, man. There's no way for me to really count because I have to eat wherever I'm at.
Yep,
You know, so
I hear you.
if I'm in a place where I can cruise to a restaurant, then I'm good with a salad or something low carb. But dude, truck stop hot dogs, shit like that.
Yeah, and it's all shit, right? So let me ask you this. So
Oh,
I'm gonna challenge you. I'm gonna challenge you here, right?
Okay,
So you got a microwave in your truck?
I do.
Okay, so here's what you do. Instead of stopping at all those truck stops, swing in
Yep.
to an HEB or a grocery store like that, and go in there and get your food. Right, go in there and get you stuff that you can eat. Like chicken's really good for you, eggs, and you know what I mean. And then and also, man, like they make these little cups that you can get that are breakfast things. And you can just throw them in there like egg whites, and got some meat in them. And
Yeah, the Jimmy Dean.
Jimmy Dean, that's him. And you can throw those in your microwave, and then you ain't got to worry about stopping and eating whatever's available. Now you are on the offense on what you're eating.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I try to do like they do sell fresh hard boiled eggs at every truck stop.
Yep.
Try to do that in the morning time, but then in the evening time you get so damn hungry.
Well, but that's
man.
because you ain't stopping. But man, like if you just had, like let's say you got you some chicken breast or something, right? Or I'll tell you what, at a lot of these places, what they'll do is they'll take their rotisserie chicken and they'll pull off, and then you got your pulled chicken, right? So it's easier to, it's already cooked and you just got to heat it up. But man, what you'll do is instead of waiting until you're starving in the evening because you don't want to stop, you ain't got time to deal with all that.
No.
What you did is if you took that and you got you some of that Minute Maid rice, those little cups.
Oh yeah, the Minute rice.
Yeah, you get those cups, right? And that's a perfect meal for you. You pull some of that chicken out and put that on there, and then you could just pull off the side of the road and heat that up for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then you're not going to be as starving at the end of the day.
Yeah, man. I mean, it makes sense.
You
Matter of fact, Walmart's, I try to hit them and I get a big bag of almonds and
Yep.
those kind of tie me through the day, But
Walmart's a good spot, like any of those places. But man, I'll tell you, especially you being a truck driver, and then like if you could get out, start your morning off, get you a good little workout in. You know what I mean? And man, if you could just walk or even before you went to bed at night, walk for 30 minutes.
yeah, I
or
do that.
you got to keep because
I get in pretty good.
especially you in that truck, you got to make sure that blood's circulating through those legs.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, my ankles have been swelling like crazy, man.
I could imagine.
I definitely had to get out and just start walking a lot because 11 hours a day of driving. I mean, that's roughly about 700 to 800 miles.
Golly.
It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, but man, if you could do something like that, but it's going to come down to your diet. And here's what I'll tell you is you can either do it on the offense or it's going to make you do it someday. It's going to put you on blood pressure medicine or diabetes. I mean, it's going to, you can either do it now or it's going to make you do it later. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's a good point, man. Real good point.
You know.
I try to stick to something, and I'll be honest, I hate to say it, but a lot of these drivers that get out of their damn truck.
Oh,
I mean, man, there's no way I can end my life like that. I mean, it's just
listen,
unreal.
You 100%, man, 100%. And man, like even if it takes 30 minutes a day extra, I mean, is it really that much?
You're right, brother.
You're
right.
What's it worth, right? And so, yeah, man, that's what I do. Hey, listen, try to cut out. I'd start right now. Just try to cut out as many, as eating at gas stations and eating at grocery stores.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why you're the man.
I'll pull in Walmart and grab me some canned tuna.
Yep.
Some shit like that. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, you get you some peanut butter, some bananas. Any of that stuff, man. And if you can, try to eat those carbs earlier in the day, like around your lunch, so it gives you some fuel, so you'll stay awake, and so you'll have some energy to finish out your day. And then try not to eat them, before you go to bed.
All right. Yeah, I mean that's what I was looking for right there, man.
There you go, man. Let me know how it goes. I look forward to hearing where you're at next.
Hey, I'll hit you next week, brother.
All right, see you, brother. Have a good day.
Hey, you too, Dakota. Thank you, man.
Take care. Man, what a good guy.
I have a question here from Facebook. Don't know if it's a little offensive. I don't know. Maybe I'll take it the wrong way. But hey, Dakota, I have a quick question for you. What happened to you, brother? I see a light from you that I haven't seen. I remember seeing you online go through a bunch of stuff not too long ago. I haven't seen you online in about a year, but you seem like you have a good glow, brother. Anyways, just wanted to say that I see some change. So what did you do? Because it looks like a complete 180.
I mean, man, everything's good. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would say that probably really the only difference is that, I'm more on the offense on my messages instead of responding. Right. So I'd say that that's probably a lot of it. My messages are solely based on what I want to say, when I want to say them, and how I want to say them. Right. So it's usually, it's not on a defensive mode. Right.
Gotcha. So more proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah, more proactive instead of reactive. That's what I would, if I was going to guess. What do you think?
I think all your work is paying off. That's what I see.
Just, hey, getting older.
What triggered you to find your new passion, to find a life purpose as a civilian?
Well, first off, I had to figure out what my passion was in the service. Most people are just serving and they don't even know why they're serving. They know why they're serving, but they don't know what was that fulfillment. Most veterans who get out haven't even thought about what made them feel fulfilled while they're in the military. Right. So I just think a little bit of soul searching, a little bit of looking in the mirror and soul searching, right? Figuring out what really was it that I missed, right? That I was needing and didn't have right now. I mean, there's, people are like, oh, only Marines understand Marines. I mean, maybe, but like being a Marine was only 4 years of my life. I've spent more time out of the Marines than I have in it, so like more people should be able to relate to me now than then. Right. And so I just, I had to challenge some of these easy button sayings and thoughts and kind of dig down and figure out, man, I just like helping people. So there's plenty of people that need help out here too.
Can you share an example of a difficult decision you had to make that tested your integrity and how you handled it?
I think every day, like whether it's working out, to yourself. I think, telling people what they need to hear, right? I just think every day, you have responsibilities on your shoulders that are the solution is only going to be found based off of how true you can be towards it, right? So I think just everything.
Got a missed call here. Let's go ahead and give him a call back.
Hey, what's going on?
Message for
Oh, no.
8.
You hear that? Please leave a message for 8. Anyways, don't worry about it.
Can you share a memorable incident where your training and skills as a firefighter made a significant difference in a life and death situation? Life or death?
Yeah. I feel like car wrecks are usually like where we make the most impact as far as like where I'm at. So I mean, look, cutting people out of cars sometimes, but I mean, there was this one guy, ran his car out into the middle of a pond. He locked his doors and rolled his windows up, and me and 2 other guys dove in, went down, broke his windows, ended up pulling him out. Did 3 or 4 rounds of CPR on the side of the bank, brought him back to life, flew him out, and he walked out of the hospital 4 weeks later.
My God.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, listen, but that's the crazy part about first responders. Like, I even hesitate to tell this story because most of these guys, it's like a Tuesday to them, right? Like all these guys who put on the uniform, I mean, they all just have done such incredible things and have changed the trajectory of so many lives. It's incredible.
Well, I have a question. How do you juggle that as well as being an entrepreneur?
I mean, you just work harder, right? Like I don't really have any hobbies, So like my hobby is firefighting. My hobby is serving and going and learning more. Like I told Lauren the other day, I was like, well, yeah, I might be in here like going to rope classes and stuff, but I mean, I guess I could have worse hobbies.
True, very true. Clayton wants to clarify here. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to come off offensive. I'm just really happy for you. I don't go on social media, and you popped up on my feed, I heard in your voice just the difference between from now and when I guess we're on the Rogan podcast. It's a really positive thing, and I'm happy for you, truly.
Hell yeah, Clayton. I appreciate you, brother.
What measures do you believe can be taken to enhance public awareness about fire safety and prevention?
I mean, I think we're doing a pretty good job, but I mean, I think that, look, we got to teach our kids, right? I mean, that's where it comes down to. Schools. I mean, schools are a very effective place to do it. Hey, what's going on? It's Dakota with Your Human Podcast.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
How are you?
Clayton.
What's up, bro?
Good. Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, man.
Hey, good. Hey, I'm the one that sent that message. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to possibly come across.
That was Knives. That was Knives. That was not me.
That was all me.
That was all Knives.
That was the way I read it.
Let me tell you what I got from it. I was offended that Knives was so offended. You know what I mean? Like I was offended he was being so damn sensitive.
No, that's good.
I took it as a compliment.
Yeah, yep. It sure is.
Well, I appreciate you, man.
Comparing it to is from the Joe Rogan.
Yeah, listen, that was a different time, man. You know what I mean? Like Joe Rogan, I'll tell you, when I went on his podcast, I don't know if you heard me tell the story just a minute ago about that car wreck.
Yeah.
Yep. I went on Joe Rogan podcast 7 days after that. I had bilateral pneumonia. My book had just launched. Bilateral pneumonia from that call. I mean, it was kind of a shit show at the time. So I was definitely in a different place. And man, like, I think you get older, and I think at some point, like, you get tired of fighting. Like you get tired of fighting to fight. And you start being more selective on what you're going to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I've been out since 2012. I'm 100%. It sucks, man, because I'm still trying to figure it out, and it's almost like every day starting back from.
Well, what are you trying to figure out? Let's just figure it out.
Nonprofit. When did I get out?
I said, let's just figure it out right here.
All right. I got out in 2012.
Yeah.
Traumatic brain injury and something called nodular gray matter heterotopia, which they told me was terminal.
Yeah.
So it kind of put a timestamp on my life, what I seen it in it for. You know what I mean? And it was like, well, this is a hole that I'll never be able to get out of. Like,
What
It's
what
kind of like an EAS on
what
your life expectancy.
what I mean, like what does it do? Like, what does it? I mean, what does it do to you physically? I don't know anything about it, to be honest.
No, yeah, I have seizures
Okay.
a lot. The chemistry in my brain changes from day to day,
Yeah.
and that's caused from the nodular gray matter heterotopia and the TBI. And I try not to let that be an excuse. You know, I'm on a whole slew of medications that I've just recently come off of, thinking that would help, and it has in a lot of ways.
Do you got people around you?
That's another thing that I think that's a great question. No, I don't.
What do you?
Not too many Marines where I'm at. I'm just north of Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah. Do you? But I mean, like, are there good people where you live?
Yeah. Yeah, and that'd be an excuse on my part, right? So that's one thing I could change.
Are you a good person?
Really?
Do you think you're a good person?
Yes. Yeah, that's hard for me to.
Why are you hesitating?
Yeah.
Why are you hesitating, man? You're like you know you are.
Because I've done terrible things.
Well, so I mean,
you know,
listen, like who hasn't fucked up?
Right.
Do you believe in God?
No.
Well,
No.
you should go.
I don't not believe.
Well,
I was baptized after I got out of the military.
Well, you should at least go read the story on Paul.
Yeah, I'm very familiar. Yeah.
So I mean, you know, look, I think the story of Paul is about showing you how you can mess up 1,000 times and still make it to heaven, right? I mean, I think that you know, I think that people sometimes, man, like you had to mess up and make those mistakes in order to unlock that key of knowledge for you to be able to teach others how to not do that. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. You know, let me ask you this: if somebody was they were only good 10 years ago, and they were only a good person then, but they were a shitty person from then on, would you still say they're a good person?
If they're still a good person now, yeah.
No, I'm saying like if somebody was good 10 years ago, they were a good person 10 years ago, but for the last 10 years, they're a shitty person. Would you still say they're a good person?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah, they still have good in them.
Well, what I'm saying is but reverse it, right? You said you've done some terrible things before. Well, I mean, it doesn't make you a terrible person. Are you a good person today?
Yes.
Man.
Not if you're doing bad things, though.
Not if you're doing bad things. Are you doing bad things?
No.
Well, then guess what? You're a damn good person. And guess what the world needs right now?
Good people.
Man, the world needs good people. And guess what? Like, man, we need people like you. We need, like, your struggles are, I'll tell you right now, like, your struggles that you're going through is to be able to help others. Is to be able to help others come through it, to be able to be a beacon of hope right now in the world that needs it so much. I mean, that's what it is. And, you know, I'll tell you, man, there's a high demand for good people, and nobody cares. Nobody cares what you've done. They care what you're doing.
I have a question about that then.
Yeah.
How did you find your record jacket from what you did while you were serving? How did you transition that to the civilian sector? Because that's another thing that for a long time I had found impossible.
Well, what do you want to do? Like, what do you like to do? What makes you happy?
Well, I'm limited, right? Because of this 100%.
Well,
I did just get hired in with Homeland Security with TSA, but it's not, that's not my passion at all.
Well, what do you like to do?
I wanted to work for the fire department, like all my uncles and grandfathers.
Well, I mean, obviously, like if you know, obviously if you have the, you know, the seizures and stuff outside that, I mean, but what else can you do to help people? right? I mean, what else can you do to help people? I mean, if TSA can hire you, I mean, couldn't the fire service?
That's what I thought. But I've been turned down by every single one.
Can you go? I mean, is there volunteer departments where you're at?
That's all there is.
Well, I mean, dude, volunteers, they shouldn't keep you from doing it.
That's what I thought.
Well, I mean, and at the end of the day, man, like, I mean, what else can you do, right? I mean, what else can you do to help people?
I mean, there's a lot of things in medical career.
Yeah. Hey, listen, do you like that stuff? Do you like them? I like the medical side because it's challenging.
Absolutely.
Dude, I love the medical side. Like, it's because you know what, it makes you think, man. And you truly make such an impact on people's lives, like being able to help them on that. I mean, man, like, look at going and getting your EMT and go and getting your paramedic. And I mean, you got the GI Bill.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like then it keeps you moving and progressing, and you're challenging yourself and you're engaged. And, you know, man, like, there's plenty of people who need help out there, you know, and like you're a good dude, and you got to believe you're a good dude. And I hear you on the terminal stuff, and I got it, man. But you know what? I'm not gonna get killed in a car wreck tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
so I don't want to keep you, Dakota. I know you got a lot.
No,
of
listen. You're the most important person. Let's go.
I appreciate that. So did you ever fall into that? I don't want other people to think this is a negative thing either, but where you start using disabilities and your ratings as a crutch.
Yeah, bro. Yes.
And then how do you so I realized that, right? That and I felt terrible that I did that, and I've tried to dissect how I did that and where that came from, because that just wasn't who I was, right? That's not the Marine Corps mentality of that honor, courage, commitment. But to move past that and to grow, that's been hard.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, like it's not your identity, right? Like PTSD. Let's just say PTSD. PTSD, like this idea and concept that the struggles that we went through are different than anybody else on the face of the planet. I mean, they're not unique to us. Our struggles are not. And I thought about this the other day, and you can tell me how this sounds, because I'm gonna use this. I was running and I thought about it. You know, everybody thinks that what they've gone through, their trauma or their struggles, is their identity. And it's not, because it's not unique to anybody. Somebody's had what you had, somebody's gone through and what I have, and they've seen worse, and they've been through worse. But what is unique is how we come out of it. Yeah. What we do with that. Right. So me, man, yeah, I did. I used to walk around. Let me tell you what my favorite line was, my go-to line to just me feeling sorry for myself. You don't know what it's like to lose your teammates. You don't know what it's like to lose your whole team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what could people say? You know, majority of people can't say shit, right? And guess what? Marcus Luttrell looked at me one time. And guess what? Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, he was rescued 18 years ago. Marcus Luttrell looked at me and goes, man, I don't know how every day is not the best day of your life. And, you know, what do you say to that guy? You know what I mean? Right. Like, I lost my team, but that guy lost his team, was held captive for 7 days, and with a broke back crawled miles and miles to get to somewhere to live, right? And so somebody's always had it worse. So me, like, I look in the mirror and I just say, you know, what did I learn from that? What did I learn from this? And how can I help others because of this? Because the more that I'm put through, that's the more God's trying to teach me something else, to be able to unlock that little key of light, to be able to help others get through that, right? I believe that the more struggles you've gone through, the more obligation you have to get through those struggles so that you can bring others through that struggle, their struggles.
That's important, man. I love that message.
You're a good dude. You know what I can tell? I can hear it in your voice and I can hear it in your questions. You want to help people, and you have
100%.
like what you've gone through, man, is not they're not. Yeah, I mean, yes, they're disabilities in the claim, but like, man, they're scars. And like people who have scars, they have stories and they have knowledge. Man, you got knowledge, and and you know what it's like. You can relate to people on another level that people who don't have the scars that you have can relate on, right? And man, how fortunate we are to be able to wake up and not be shot at, to not be blown up, to I mean, we got it good, right? And now I'm not saying that there's not struggles here, because there are, but man, at the end of the day, what it's about is being able to help each other, being able to be there for each other, and letting others know that, hey man, I got through this, that you can get through this. I mean, how many times has that ever felt good? Right? Like,
it does feel amazing, but I was, when I was in that dark place, and I still do it to this day, especially on holidays. Memorial Day was a big one for me. Like, I shove everybody out, and that's a terrible headspace to be in. And I still, like, this last Memorial Day, I did it, and I don't know how to fix them parts, but I guess, like, what I'm getting from you is you have to just go through it.
Let me tell you how. Like, do you ever get up in the mornings and not want to get out of bed? You want to sleep in for 5 more minutes?
100%.
But what do you do? You get out of bed, right? Because you know that you got to get going, right?
100%.
And so what I tell you is first off, look at all these things. And this might backfire on me, but here's what I used to do the same thing about Memorial Day. I used to put out this whole sappy post and, just drink myself down and then you know what I did? I challenged myself and said, why do I do this? Like, did you, I mean, and I'm asking, like, in combat, did you lose anybody that day?
Yes.
On Memorial Day?
No.
Okay.
No.
So on Memorial Day.
It was 2 days before my brother committed suicide, which we joined at the same time.
Man, I'm sorry. But my point for Memorial Day piece was, I'm not going to be sad on a day that my teammates didn't die on. And then I was like, man, what would my teammates want? What would your brother and your teammates want? Would they want you to be sad?
No, not at all.
So
not at all.
If I'm truly going to live for them, then I need to live for them.
100%.
And that's what I do. That's my accountability. So so back to my rationale on how do you change these things? It's kind of like not wanting to go to the gym. You don't want to go to the gym, work out. You're like, man, you try to come up with all these excuses and then you don't want to go. But then you finally make yourself go, and then you go in and you're like, I'm just going to just get through the workout. You do the workout. Have you ever gone and done a workout and then regretted that you went and did the workout?
No, never.
So what I tell you is when you see yourself isolating, do the exact opposite and watch what happens. You see what I'm saying? Like, make that discipline of like, man, I'll tell you, people love you. America loves its veterans. Like, people love good people, and like, I'm sure you got friends, man. And I'll tell you, the other thing I did is I quit talking. I don't bring up, I don't bring up any negative stuff. Like, why would I want to just bring up negative stuff? So what I do is I only tell, if I'm telling a war story, I only tell the funny parts. You know what I mean? Like the dumb shit. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like when you trip or you do something stupid, right? That's all I talk about. And and man, but I want to tell you this, like don't lose hope, right? People love you. Like, dude, it's all good. What I want to tell you is I've been where you're at. I've been where you're at. I've gone through it. And man, once you start challenging why you feel the way you feel and you start having a little discipline to do different, right? If you start changing up what you're doing, life will get better, man.
I believe that. I do.
It's momentum, brother. Man, I appreciate you calling.
Hey, thanks, Dakota. I really appreciate it. And happy late 4th of July. Bro.
Happy late 4th. What are you going to do the rest of the day?
I'm going to go pick up my daughter.
How old's your daughter?
My service dog just died. She's 9. We're going to go out to the barn and probably ride a little bit today.
You got horses?
So, yeah, I got a Western Pleasure. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. How cool. I mean, think about that. I mean, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, did you think that that's what you'd be doing today?
Never, ever.
So I want you to take, I want you to go out there and I want you to just think about that, right? I want you to think about that, man, you get your daughter's healthy. You're going out there to ride horses. You get to spend time with her. I mean, yeah, what else could you ask for?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's really them are the 2 blessings in my life is that my 2 kids. So I appreciate you putting it in perspective for me, man.
Hell yeah, brother.
I'm sorry to
man,
kind of change the momentum of the conversation.
You didn't.
You helped. You definitely helped.
Well, I appreciate you, bro. Hey, man, I appreciate you calling in. I appreciate you shooting over a comment. Hey, I love you, brother, and go squeeze those babies, all right?
Yep.
Have a good day, man.
Except Hey, you too.
What a good dude. What a good guy.
That was an all-time call right there, man.
Dude, that was the best call I've ever had.
I'm glad I read his comment, but I did not mean to infer any negativity. I really didn't.
I didn't take it negative at all.
I just read what happened to you, brother, and I read it in a weird way. But
yeah, the first part, like, when you said what happened to you, I was like, oh gosh, they're going to tell me that I've lost my ways, like some of these people. But then he's like, no, he was spot on. That's a guy who has like been watching, because he can tell the difference of where I'm at to where I'm at.
Absolutely. This is weird. I don't know if we'll answer this. Question for Knives. I've had the pleasure to work with Dakota, and he's had a major impact on my life. How has Dakota changed your life? Man, you got a second? We'll see. Hopefully we'll get a call. But and the lines are open at 512-523-5609.
But trying to get them.
I got to say, there's in my life, there was a before and then there was an after. A before of meeting Dakota and then an after. I mean, I really thought I had my shit together. I would even go as far to say I was a cocky motherfucker. And then I met Dakota Meyer and I was like, holy shit. This guy challenges me every day. He holds me accountable every day. I'd like to think I'm a better person because he's in my life. And you're an incredible person. You're a giant. I look up to you as a father. I look up to you as a brother, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. It's intense, man. Being able to have the honor to operate this podcast is truly one of the greatest honors of my life. And here we are, 15 episodes in. And I'd like to think we're making a difference here.
Man, it feels like it, right? Like, we sometimes we get caught up in the numbers. Sometimes we get caught up in the numbers, and like, it's just, I love it. I love doing this show.
I do too. It's an absolute pleasure. So thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
And you're the man, Knives.
Dude, you're the man.
Hey, it's Dakota. It's Your Human Podcast.
Hey, Dakota. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I just want to say thanks for taking my call, and I've been listening into some of these calls, and it makes my heart pound because I don't know, you can relate to these guys, and you always got the right words to say, especially when you've been through so much. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting you twice. Once in SOI in 2011 when you came out to talk to a group of us. I was wide-eyed, just sitting there.
That's awesome.
Cross-seated, and then the second time was 13 TAC 2 out in Afghanistan. Came out there with the Commandant. So, it's been a
for Christmas.
pleasure, and yeah, it was out there, and I read your book out there. It was truly amazing. Get to hear you and kind of see you, and then I listened to your podcast with Jocko when I was golfing one time by myself, and I will say that a lot of things you say are right. I've been feeling a little weird these past couple of months and stuff like that. Like been losing purpose, but just listening to these and
what's going on? What'd you change up?
Just a couple of life changes, happened a few months back. went through a really bad breakup, and then lost my job like all within the same month, and
Man.
you know, went into financial troubles and all that because of it, because it just, you know, all rained down on me. And I guess the easiest thing you can do when you get caught up in that situation is just
Quit.
start to play the blame game, you know?
Yeah. 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 What do you do?
So I currently right now I'm bartending because I'm going back to school, use my GI Bill.
Oh yeah.
But at the time I was recruiting for an IT staffing and consultant firm. So it was kind of like, you know, the job that I was wanting, that, you know, I worked really hard to get to, and
Did you like it?
downsizing and all that. You know, I'm good at sales. It wasn't really like I was passionate about it. I think the aspect that I enjoyed the most out of it was, you know, if I found a candidate that, you know, really just was down and out, and I gave them the opportunity and they got the job.
Yeah.
And then the way that they thanked me, and, you know, they say, you know, thank you so much. You know, this means a lot for the opportunity. You know, I'm just sitting here kind of like, this is my job, my 9 to 5. But
Bro, you
that
like
was
helping
kind of the
people.
satisfaction part of it.
You like helping
Of
people.
course, I love helping people as much as I can, even when I can't offer it. I'm kind of a hypocrite that way. You know, I hate taking help, but any chance I can get to you know, help somebody out, I'm like, here's my shirt, here's my
Man.
food. What else do you need?
You know what? People that do that, they always end up in the right spots. You know what I mean? And like, I'll tell you this, I bet you in 6 months, I bet you look back and I bet you're happy that everything happened the way it did.
You know, it's building resiliency, I'll tell you that, because
Yeah.
it's like, you know, these testing times, it's good to, you know, surround myself around some good people, because I know I isolated for, you know, about 3 of those months, and just kind of went, you know, toe to toe with these demons. And,
Yeah.
you know, luckily I don't have much of an addictive personality. So, you know, I don't turn to any of my vices. I kind of try to do it as raw as I can. And it's almost like I find that harder to do
Yeah.
than it is.
Well, of
you know,
course
to
it
turn
is.
to the
Why do you think
bottle
everybody
or
does
turn
it the
to
other way?
whatever it is. Yeah. I think it's harder for me when I just see clearly in the mirror and look at myself, and it's like, I'm looking at you, man. Like, what are we gonna do about this? And, you know, at the time I may not have the answer, but
What
that support circle is good.
where you live at?
So I just moved from Milwaukee, and I'm out here in Northern Virginia area now. So had to get out of my comfort zone. That was part of like my, you know, get your shit together, you know.
Yeah.
Move away from, you know, like the comforts that I had, and you know, I know where my friends are at. You know, the military, we get moved around everywhere, and we still talk to our friends and stuff. So it's not so much about where I'm physically at, but I needed to just kind of get away and start somewhere fresh, you know.
Yeah, man. Is it going good?
You know, so far it's been good. So far it's been real good. My brother, he lives over here, so it's kind of nice to be, you know, in the same area as my brother. We were both stationed in Lejeune together. So it was kind of nice to reunite and kind of live in the same area again. So
That's awesome, man.
It's been better, you know. It's been better, and listening to these, and, you know, listening to some of these other, you know, fellow vets that just call in, and they kind of, you know, talk about their struggles, and then talk about, you know, some of the solutions rather than focusing on the problem. It helps.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Are
it
you
helps a lot.
you getting up working out every day?
Every day, man. 6:30 I get up, 6:45 I'm at the gym, and
Hell yeah.
I have to, even on the
Yeah.
days I don't feel good. You know, I heard you just talking to the caller before about how you know, you never regret a workout. You know, that's the reason why I called. I didn't want to call. I just kind of felt like listening, and you know, I was like, you know, this is some good stuff that you're doing this for.
Man.
You know, the guys that are just, you know, in this town, and, you know, kind of like we can all relate to that.
Yeah, man. It's like, you know, and that's the thing is like, that's, you know, the cool part for me is, you know, all this stuff that I talk about, like I'm talking to myself. Right. And, you know, I'm saying the things that help me the most. I mean, none of this is unique to me. None of this is, I didn't come up with any of these things. Somebody at some point told me this or made me realize this. And I'll tell you, man, like I still believe it that in 6 months, you're going to look back, you're going to be happy where you're at. You're going to start finding out what was trying to be taught through this, what you learned, and you're going to come out stronger from it. Right. You probably got too comfortable and man, you probably stopped growing and you had to leave your shell and cause it's time to grow a little bit more, you know what I mean? I still go back to, man, everything happens for a reason, right? Might not be what we wanted or what we thought, but it's going to turn out how it's supposed to turn out. And we have to trust the process. That's just part of it. And man, you sound like you're doing good. You stay off the booze, stay off the, just don't fall into the trap. Right. Cause that's what it does. And man, probably you sound like you just were out helping everybody else. And it's time to maybe a little bit of time to put a little self-love in and make sure that you get yourself bigger with a bigger platform and stronger because you probably got more people to help,
Yeah, I think that was kind of the part that was missing, in the puzzle is that, learning to love myself first, and not saying that I can't help others out, but I never felt like I was just giving myself 100% attention. I felt like I was trying to please, and then when it got tough, and I didn't find the same individual that I am, in other people, maybe like trying to make me better, stuff like that. It's like, sometimes it has to be you that has to, take that step back and say, hey, I got to take a break from, this all, and then just focus on me.
Well, how can you tell somebody else to make themselves important if you don't even make your own self important? Right. I always say the biggest impact, the most impactful thing that we can all do is be examples. Right. And man, like, yeah, you gotta take care of yourself first. And so I'd say it's what this is. And man, it's going to work out. You just got to keep pushing on. Don't get down into, don't let your mind start fucking with you. Right. Like, man, you're still living life on your terms. You're still getting up and working out. You're still moving forward. And like, man, don't let your mind start going there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That was like the first little help, to get over. It's just kind of like telling my mind, like, hey, I'm in control. You know what I mean? It's not the other way around. I'm in control of this story, this book, that's yet to be finished. And yeah, I mean, I think you're right on that. And I appreciate, like I said, the words and stuff like that, but it's nice to hear it sometimes.
Well, we all need that, right? We all need that. We all need confirmation sometimes about not need it, but confirmation sometimes is good to know that we're heading on. I mean, listen, everybody needs a map, everybody needs a compass, you got the stars or whatever, but sometimes it's good to know that somebody else has gone through it and that you're on the right path, right?
100%, leaning on each other, man.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, listen, I hope you have a great day, man. I appreciate you calling in. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for everything, Dakota. Semper Fi.
Thanks, brother. Semper Fi. What an awesome guy. What an awesome guy, Knives.
This has been an epic episode.
I mean, I'm telling you, like, this episode's been like rocking.
Got a heavy question here.
Let's send it.
It's from Christina.
Okay. How
do you deal with the triggers of your PTSD? Mine isn't from war, but from losing my child.
Yeah. I wish she called in. This would be a good conversation to have. I don't know. I mean, I can't relate to losing a child, right? But I'll tell you something Granger Smith said, and I love Granger Smith. You remember that?
I do. I was there, yeah.
Yeah. We recorded a podcast with Granger Smith. We were going to release it on Father's Day.
That's right. I remember that.
We sat out there and, man, the whole time we were recording with him, his kids were running in and out, right?
Yeah.
And, man, what is less than a week later?
I think it was like 2 or 3 days later.
Well, it was the same week.
Yeah.
We got a call or text that Granger's son, River, had drowned in their pool. And I went to the funeral, one of the hardest funerals I've ever gone to. And you know what he said was so impactful. He got up there and he said, you know, I'm never going to think about, you know, well, this would have been the year that River went to graduated high school or went to prom. He said River was never meant to be there. Like, you know, River lived these however many days wide open and just made the most of it. Hey, what's going on? It's Dakota with Your Human Podcast.
Hi, this is Christina Kirby.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
So
I had the question about the PTSD
yes, ma'am.
with the triggers and
Yeah. You know, so I was just telling a story about a guy I call my friend Granger Smith, right? He lost his kid, River. He drowned a few years ago in a pool. And I'll never forget
mine was he was killed in a car accident by a county sheriff where I live.
Oh my gosh.
He was in a high-speed chase with no lights and sirens. So it was, you know, my son lost his life due to his negligence. And it'll be 12 years in September, but I have no, I hold no harsh feelings towards him, or, you know, God gave me the peace, and I know where my son is.
Yes, ma'am.
But when a child dies, or a family member dies, or I suffer severely from PTSD, and I've taken myself off all medications because it made it worse for me. And I just wanted your take on how you deal with the triggers, because I can't imagine what you've went through.
Well, nothing like this. So let me just say that up front. Nothing like this. Well, can I ask you this?
Yes.
What would your son want you to do?
He would want me to live on and be happy.
And
I don't know. That the thing that angers me the most is these mothers that have these kids that don't take care of them. That's what gets me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I took care of my kids and I had to lose mine.
Mm-hmm.
And you have these mothers out here who just spit these kids out and like they're nothing and throw them away like they're garbage.
You know,
and that's what pisses me off.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you. And, you know, but the thing is when we let these things hurt us, like they're only hurting us. And you have so much to still give. I mean, you know, you can't, I don't know. For me, like I just had to look in the mirror. I mean, trust me, I get mad at these veterans who, you know, don't go out and live a life, who walk around and just, you know, who don't go and love their freedoms, right? Who just, you know what I mean? Like I look at people that triggers me sometimes, you know? And so obviously, like I've never been through what you've been through. I couldn't imagine losing a child. I couldn't fathom it. It's something that we all hope never happens. Right. And, but what I'll say is did your son pass away knowing that his mom loved him?
Yes. That come to that. I was in Indianapolis with my brother who had lifeline the day before. He was in a coma and they didn't expect him to make it at that time. And so I was 2 hours away from home when I got the phone call. And right before, 20 minutes before I got the phone call. I got to talk to him. And the last words he said to me was, "I love you, Mommy," before we hung up the phone. So that is one thing that keeps me going, is because I got to hear those words from him before he passed. And luckily, he died instantly. He didn't suffer.
Yep.
But my daughter was in the car, and she was never unconscious at all, and has witnessed it all. It was him and my husband at the time, their dad, and her. And which they didn't expect my husband to make it either, because it ejected both of them from the vehicle. And my little boy, I won't go into the damage that was done to him, but he was killed instantly. But my daughter witnessed it all, and she was only 12 at the time, suffers horribly to this day. With the nightmares and the remembering of what he saw. And I feel so helpless for her, because I don't know how to help her.
Well, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
How can she heal if she doesn't see you heal?
That's very true.
So if anything, I mean, you know, and look, I mean, you're a Christian, right?
Yes.
You know, I mean, I said it earlier, and I this is one of my favorite things to say. You know, God says that He does everything, right?
Yes.
And what does He say that everything that He does is? Is good.
Purpose?
Is good.
Yes.
He says that everything He does is good.
And that's the way I look at it myself, is I look at it that God spared me from something worse. Whether it be, him suffering from something worse than dying, because he was only 4. I wish he would have had an opportunity to meet him. He was so smart for 4 years old.
Wow.
Very, he was potty trained at a year old.
That is awesome.
Learned to ride his bike before he was 2 without training wheels. He was all boy.
Yeah.
Diving off the diving board, doing flips at the
Wild.
swimming pool at 3 years old. Would scare the shit out of the lifeguard.
Yeah.
But he was so more mature than a 4-year-old. He lived more of a life in his 4 short years than most men do in their entire life.
And that's my point, right? There's your example. He came on this earth to show us that we should all be living. You just said it. You just said it. He lived more life in 4 years than most people will in 80.
Long time.
Yeah,
I didn't catch the end of you. I
said, you just said it. You just said what he was there to teach is, he was living, right? He was living, and he lived more in 4 years than most people live in 80.
Yes, he did.
And that, you gotta, that's what we all have to learn from it, right? I just feel like everything that happens to us is God's trying to give us a lesson, and we should squeeze each other tighter. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. And gosh, you're a good mom. How awesome is that?
Right.
How awesome is that? You got your daughter. You got your daughter. And she needs you too.
Yes, she does. She's really affected by it. She's 24 now, and she still is really, really affected by it. And so is my ex-husband, which he holds so much hate for the officer, because he feels no justice was done, because they didn't do anything to him. He's still an officer, and that was the second child that he killed in a high-speed chase. The first one he killed with his car. Gosh. He ran him over. And the second one, he hit them at 70 miles an hour in a school zone. It was just by the grace of God that he was in a vehicle and not out playing, because it was in a neighborhood where kids were all outside. It was at 12:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday. And but he holds so much hate for that officer, and he lives as if it just happened yesterday. So we don't get no peace from it because he won't let it die down.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to help him because he refuses to seek help, because they haven't experienced what he's gone through. So how are they going to help him?
Well,
It's the way he looks at it.
yeah. I hear it. Yeah. And, but, what if you told him that, he's got to get help so that he can help your daughter get help?
Yeah, I have tried. I just didn't know how. Because when I get triggered, that they last. It lasts forever. It's like climbing out of that black hole again, and that's I'm fighting to stay above water, just to live a normal life. And I didn't know how you dealt with it, how you are able to stay strong.
Yeah.
You motivate me more than you will ever know. You're such an inspiration. I won't even get into the story of how I even became to know who
Oh
you
gosh.
are.
I hope it's not the TV show.
No, it's actually a guy claiming to be you that I was talking to. Yeah, and when I finally, I was, I don't know, it was stupid, but when I finally looked you up on Facebook, the first video I see is you proposing to your beautiful Beyonce.
Yeah, she's great.
And then when I sent him that video, he still denied.
What? Yeah, he's probably scamming.
That's a whole new story.
That's awesome. But
yeah,
but
that's how I got to know who you are, and I watch your podcast every week. You're owning the dash in the gym.
I love it.
And that's motivated me to want to work out and make my life better and get myself, build myself back up.
And that's all we can do, right? And that's
right.
There's no look. I tell people, you're never gonna take away what happened. But if you can find a way to make it purposeful, to help others, it makes it more tolerable. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like me, I use what I lost in Afghanistan. I use it as a tool to remind me that tomorrow's not guaranteed, that I better squeeze the people I love more than anything around me. But I don't feel bad. And it's not that I don't feel bad because I don't think I should feel bad, because that's a normal thought, but I don't feel bad, and I refuse to let myself get down because I know for a fact that that's not what they would have wanted me to do.
And that's what I'm fighting for now. I've had my brother passed away in November, and then I just lost my nephew last month. He was only 20 years old in a car accident. And it's like, the more I'm fighting, the more it just keeps piling on. And it's, at what point do
you think God would give you more than you?
Yeah.
Do you think God would give you more than you could handle?
No, I'm a firm believer in that God never gives you more than you can handle.
But you can't be a believer and question these things.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't. And I know it's easier said than done. That's why we are humans, right? He tells us that we are. And look, I'm not trying to make this a Bible podcast by no mean, but
I don't care.
But I just
make it whatever.
Yeah, but I go back to, you're a human being. So yeah, of course this is going to bother you. You're a mother that cares, right? You're all these things. You have so many titles about you that are so important and significant, and you have all this stuff still coming at you, right? And it's coming, and what I would say is that you either got to start, you can't hold on to all of it. You either got to start offing some of it and just being like, hey, you know what, we're out here living like it was good. But I'm not going to dwell on it, because if not, it's going to pile up and it's just going to seem huge and it's mountain to climb. And the biggest lesson in all of it is that we just got each other, and we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And we just got to get up and be the best that we can, and just try to be a better person tomorrow than we were today. And like, I mean, you got your daughter, you got your husband, and they, you sound like the strong one. And that's why you're getting thrown all this stuff, because you're probably the only one right now that can handle it.
That my youngest daughter tells me that because I care too much about what other people think, and I'm trying to protect other people from failing, and she says that I need to let go.
Yep. You know what you need?
And I don't know how to do that, though.
Well,
that's my thing. I don't know how to let go.
So this is what I've done with people, because that is a problem that I've had for a long time, right? But let me tell you how I live it. I'm not going to put more effort into your problem than you are.
That's a good way to look at it.
Look, I'll match you all day. You know what? I'll match you all day. It's kind of like this, right? It's like and I'm just using this as an example, but towards a problem. Like my kids, when they grow up and they're 18 years old, they'll always have a house here. They're always welcome in my house, right? But I'll tell you this, I'm not going to be at work more hours a day or a week than they are while they're living at my house after they're adults. Does that make sense? I'm all about it. Look,
yes, very much so.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it. I'll help you on your problem. I'll stay up with you. Let's get through it. Let's talk through it. You know what? I'll go with you to fix these problems.
How did you get to that point to be able to do that? Because I'm a pushover.
Well, let me tell you what's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
Imagine on an airplane, what do they tell you to do with the oxygen mask?
Put it on.
Put yours on first, and then put everybody else's on. If you don't put your mask on, you're going to be able to put quite a few people's mask on, but eventually you're not going to be able to put anybody's mask on. So if you truly want to help people, there's a difference between helping and doing it for them.
That's very true.
So like, if you want to help people, you should.
And that's what I lack, is I put myself last.
Yep. But you got to put yourself first, because if you can't put yourself first, then you're not going to teach them how to put themselves first. You can't tell them to put themselves first if you don't. Now you're a hypocrite. And then on the backside of it, if you don't put yourself first, they're not going to have anybody to help them in a few years, because you're not going to be able to handle it all.
That's very true.
And that's what it comes down to. There's a difference between helping and enabling. There's a difference between supporting and doing it for them. You know what I mean? And you got to really be very fine and definite in your intentions on this. I mean, now, if you just want to do it for them, then just say it. Like, I just want to do this for you. I'll fix your problems for you. But none of us want to do that, and none of us can do that. And realistically, you're setting them up for failure down the road by doing that. Because what happens when you don't do it for them?
Yeah, and it's sad to say, but that's where I'm at with my oldest daughter, is because we have babied her, and which she was the one in the accident.
Yep.
So therefore, we have carried her. She's 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He pays all of her bills.
Yep.
She does nothing for herself. And then when we can't do it, she gets really pissed off and lashes out horribly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because we did that to her.
Yes. Listen, I used to run around and get drunk, and I was a drunk asshole to people. And then I would blame it on my PTSD from combat, and I'd blame it on all that. And going through something doesn't give you the get out of jail free pass to just treat everybody like shit around you that's helping you.
And what she does.
Yeah. But but you like, look, I'll always be there for her. Help, like, definitely encourage her to go get help. But I mean, you're not a doormat, you know?
Right. And that's what my youngest daughter says.
Yeah.
She's more independent, very outspoken, takes no shit.
Yeah.
If she doesn't care if it hurts your feelings, she's going to give you what you give her.
Yeah.
Which is how I used to be in my younger days.
Well, you need to love her so much.
When I lost my boy, it all changed.
Well, of course
everything changed.
Of course it did, and that's normal. I mean, that is of course it did. You're a mom. You lost your son. I mean, yeah. I mean, you're healing too, and but at the end of the day, like, you know, you have to love her so much that you're going to tell her what she needs to hear, not what she wants to hear. And
that makes a lot of sense.
You know? Well, listen, hey, I really appreciate you calling in.
I think you've taken my call.
I'm so sorry for your loss and what you're going through. You are a rock star, though.
Thank you very much.
I hope you...
And you continue doing what you're doing. You have no idea how amazing you are, and the help that you've given me. I can't imagine all of everybody else out there that listens to you or that watches you or anything that you do. You're such an inspiration.
Well, I appreciate that. Means people like you are the reason that I do this. And like it means more to me for you to say what you just said than anything else that I do, you know? So like, I can't thank you enough for giving me the opportunity to hear your story, to share your story, and just to get to meet you and to talk to you. And it's honestly my honor. And so I truly appreciate it. And I hope you have a great day.
You too. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Gosh, man. You know, like, I look at it and yeah, it's a heavy podcast, but like, I hope that anybody out there that's listening to this, whatever problem you had on your mind today, you know, man, like, are they problems or the inconveniences, right? You know, this is a chapter that we're talking about in my next book that's going to come out this fall is differentiating the difference between problems and inconveniences and really only giving them the power that they need, right? Like, I mean, gosh, you heard it. You've got a guy on here that lost his job and relationship, but he's still getting after it, right? He's still, went to a dark spot, still getting after it. You got a guy that got a terminal illness after he got out of serving his country, but he's still getting up and getting after it, right? And it's like all these things. You got a mother who lost her 4-year-old son, and she's still getting after it. You know, it's we live in a world we are surrounded by incredible human beings. And like, that's what this podcast is about. It's to remind you that you're human, but it's also to remind you that you are human. And, being human, we're not faultless. We make mistakes. Things are going to affect us and nothing's going to be perfect, but on the backside of it, we are humans, and it is an amazing thing to be. And we get to be this, and being humans, you can be whatever you want to be. And, man, just an incredible podcast, right, Knives?
It's an all-timer right there.
It's the best podcast we've had.
It's the best one. Yeah.
15 is the best podcast we've had. And then, you take my buddy who's up in, where's he at? Seattle?
Which buddy, sir?
My truck driver.
Sacramento.
You got up in Sacramento. He's in Michigan last week. And you know what? Like, I mean, out there doing the Lord's work. Like, everybody on this podcast is a cog in the wheel. You from a mom to a guy who just loved helping people as a recruiter to a guy who's hauling the stuff that we use and need to make the world go round all across the United States of America. I mean, this is what Americans are, right? We celebrated America's birthday yesterday, but this is what America is. I mean, you want to listen to Americans, get on this podcast. A coal miner in West Virginia. I mean, every time I get off this podcast, I'm blown away. But like, this time is like, this podcast is awesome. And I am just so lucky that I get to do this. So I hope you all have a great week. We will be back next Tuesday at noon. And I hope you all have a great week and just keep owning it.